Namaskar. This is Dr. Alok Roy from Medical Hospital. And like every week, we are again present here with you discussing health is the ultimate wealth. And we all know that we bring a lot of disquiet, a lot of harm to ourselves by not living life properly. Small precautions here and there. Something as simple as drinking a glass of water in time or keeping yourself hydrated. We have discussed many times, many diseases in last 6 months, 5 months. We thought that in summer, the skin, which is our largest organ, is literally like God to us. It covers us from all sides. There's not a single part of our body which is not covered by skin. It's the largest organ. It provides nutrition, it provides protection, it provides healing to us. Without skin, we want to survive even for a few days. And skin needs a lot of care. It's the most visible part of our body and most important part of our body. So today I have with me Dr. Ishad Aggarwal, who is MBBS, MD Dermatology, specialized in cosmetic dermatology and laser treatment. He has more than 15 national and international publications, and he is really good when it comes to taking care of his skin and hair. He's with us with Medica, and today I have him on board to talk to you about summer and skincare. With this, over to Ishad. It's all yours.
Very good afternoon, everybody. Thanks a lot, sir, for that lovely introduction. And I'm really loving the fact that you've been educating people about health and how that's important in our today's day and age. And as you rightly said, that skin is the largest organ of the body. It covers us, it protects us, it keeps us intact. And therefore, it's very relevant for us to take care of our skin, especially in summers. In fact, before I even begin about summer skincare, why is it important for us to really be bothered about our skin in today's day and age where everything is about having a good social media presence, is about first impressions? Your skin forms the first impression. It is the first thing that a person looks at and forms an opinion about you. So be it your personal life, be it your social life, be it your professional life, having a good skin quality makes a huge difference in every aspect of our being. Therefore, in today's discussion over here, we are going to discuss about how to take care of our skin during the summers, what really goes wrong in summers, and how we can prevent a lot of things from getting wrong. Now, today's discussion, I shall be dividing it into 3 parts. The first part, I'll be talking about a little bit about skin issues, then their prevention and treatment, and finally, a lot about skincare routines. Well, I get my Instagram, my social media is constantly being flooded with so many queries. There's a lot of information online. There are so many influencers. So people tend to often make common mistakes. And I hope that with today's series over here, we will be able to banish some of those myths, and I would be able to help people get into an organic approach towards how they should be able to take care of their skin and not fall into myths, traps, and gimmicks that the social media and the awareness, false awareness that is there about all the skin products in the media right now. So what are the common summer skin issues? Common summer skin issues, the most common one that comes off hand is tanning. In India specifically, everybody is bothered about tanning. I get frequent calls from my patients who've gone for a summer vacation and they come back tanned, and that bothers them. Of course, in a country like ours, tanning also causes a lot of mental anguish in people in terms of how they are being perceived. The second very common concern that a lot of people have is pigmentation. Now, the best part about the pigmentation is that if you take good care, you cannot necessarily always delay it, but also you can help it from worsening. And the third and most common part is skin dullness. Now, skin dullness is a very complex phenomena, and skin aging is further more complex phenomena, and summers can really worsen it by causing a lot of skin dehydration. So I'm going to be specifically talking about these 3 factors before I even begin on how you can be following a good skincare routine. Coming first to tanning. Now, tanning is a very protective mechanism of a body. In fact, in India, we tan, but that also prevents us from a lot of skin cancers. However, why does this tanning happen? Tanning is nothing but a protective response that our skin undergoes the moment it gets exposed to the sun, the UVA and the UVB light. Our pigment producing cells called as melanin, they rearrange, and that results in that immediate pigment darkening or imaging darkening that we see after, let's suppose,
Dr.
we've gone to a
Ishad,
beach.
sorry to interrupt you.
Yes, sir.
Can you be a little slow
Okay.
so people understand it better?
Yeah. Okay. So let's suppose you've gone to a summer holiday. Let's suppose you've gone to a beach. The moment these sun rays hit your skin kind of reacts protectively and results in a visible skin darkening. But that is just a superficial tan. There is something which is called as a deep tan. So when you have a very prolonged exposure to sun, actually you get more pigment producing cells, and this is the tan that bothers people more, because this does not really disappear on its own. You have to do some sort of treatments, or you have to apply some kinds of creams in order to get rid of this tan. But before we even discuss how the tan has to be treated, we need to understand how can we avoid it to begin with. So these are 4 points, and I would really request people to give a little bit of attention here. The most important aspect, if you want to reduce your tan, is to use a sunscreen. And you don't need always a sunscreen of SPF 50 unless you are going for a beach vacation or you're going for a mountain vacation. But anything over SPF of 30 is more than enough, especially in summers. On a day-to-day basis, a sunscreen of SPF 30 and above will be enough. But the bottom line is that you have to use it 3 to 4 times a day, and also on all the exposed body parts. A lot of times we tend to forget places like arms, places like legs, especially in summers when we do, tend to wear clothes like half sleeves t-shirts or, just about knee length dresses. So if you really do not want to tan on all the exposed body parts, we need to be applying adequate amounts of sunscreen on all of these parts. The best form of sun protection from tanning is, of course, your physical things. By physical things, I mean things like a cap, a very large sunglass, and an umbrella. Now, these are the cheapest forms of sun protecting agents that we have at our disposal. And by using them properly, we are really, really avoiding a lot of tanning from happening. The third most important part is to wear covered clothing as much as it is possible. But in summers, that can be an issue. Therefore, wear loose but covered clothing, especially if you are very, very prone to tanning. And finally, you can consume some oral antioxidants and oral sunscreens. Now, you do not necessarily always have to have pills. You can also increase the amount of oral antioxidants in your diet by taking a lot of berries, taking a lot of fruits, and adding vitamin C rich foods like lemon juice or gooseberries in your diet. That would be an effective way for increasing the protection against tanning from your body from within. But let's say you've got tanned. What next? Well, if you've, let's say, just gone out in the sun and you've immediately become dark. Now, that's a superficial tan. You need not worry much about it. Give your skin rest, and that will be gone by itself in a few weeks' time. However, if your tan has become deeper and more stubborn and resistant, that will take longer to go away. In order to hasten the process of recovery of your skin from the tanning, you will need to apply things like AHA or alpha hydroxy acids. Now, these are ingredients which are readily available over the counter as well, which you can buy online as well, and things like glycolic acid 6% at night. But do remember that your skin can be super sensitive to these things. So initially, you might want to use it in lower frequency and keep them on for lesser amount of time in the beginning. And yet, if you still want your tan to go away faster, or these creams are unable to remove your tan, you can visit a dermatologist and get simple treatments like chemical peels and Q-switch lasers. These are good treatments provided you are going to a professional dermatologist for that. Do not opt for these treatments in spas and places, like beauty parlors, because that's where you end up damaging your skin. And, we've seen people getting burnt by these places. So if at all you are really bothered about the deep tan and you do visit a doctor, go to a proper dermatologist who has good quality machines and stuff with him. Now let's talk about the second most common thing. The second most common thing, of course, is pigmentation. Now I've shown you three different kinds of pigmentations. These are the kind of pigmentations that increase when the sun exposure is high. The number one, which is very, very common in India, is like a band kind of a pigmentation, which is the first picture here, where a person's face discolors predominantly from forehead region and under the eye region. The second, of course, are freckles. And the third is melasma or sunspots that are very, very commonly seen in fair skinned individuals. So how do you really prevent this pigmentation from worsening? Now, if you have pigmentation, or if you have a tendency to getting pigmentation, you need to choose a sunscreen of a high SPF, somewhere around 50, and again, apply 2 to 3 times a day. To improve this pigmentation, you can get anti-pigmentation creams. Now, again, a lot of these creams are available in the market. They're available in online counters. So you need to look for ingredients such as kojic acid, glycolic acid, azelaic acid, arbutin, and vitamin C. But remember, use these creams only at night and preferably under prescription of a dermatologist, because some of these creams, these are all high acids and can cause further more worsening if not used properly. And you need to again take oral antioxidants. The best ones that come to my mind are glutathione, lycopene. There are a lot of glutathione pills that are available online. Go for good brands which are reputed and have good reviews about them. And for stubborn pigmentation, you will need treatments like chemical peels. Now, chemical peels are very simple treatments in which the superficial layer of your skin is peeled. It's done by dermatologists. So if you have superficial pigmentation, the peels are a great way to go about it. However, if your skin is super sensitive, you can get the same thing done by a hydrofacial. And for the deeper pigmentation, you will need a treatment like a laser toning or a Q-switch ND-YAG laser. Look for a good quality laser machine. That is very important. Again, I have to reiterate that enough. There are a variety of copycats and Chinese and Korean machines in the market. You need to go to a center that has good machines for things like laser toning. So coming to the last point, which is the skin dehydration and summer related aging. Now, this really happens when you have a prolonged sun exposure. For example, somebody who's into a sales job, where they have to be out in the sun for long periods of time. What really happens in those people is this constant exposure of sun causes breakdown of these three important things in our skin, which is collagen, elastin, and hyaluronic acid. Now, these are very important things because these are the things that are holding our skin in place and making it look younger. When you lose these things, that's what makes our skin look very dull, dehydrated, wrinkled, and aging sets in faster. Therefore, you'll see that people who stay in mountains, they tend to have far more number of lines and wrinkles on our face compared to people who stay at the coastal regions, because in mountains, the level of sun exposure is far much higher than any other region. So how do we really prevent this sun-related aging? Again, strict sun protection is must. However, you also need that your skin should be able to repair. You need to increase the levels of collagen, elastin, and hyaluronic acid in your skin. So a simple way to go about it would be to use a good thick layer of moisturizer containing hyaluronic acid, ceramides, especially even in summers. And in the night, if your skin is not sensitive, if you do not have a super dry skin, then you can use product containing retinol. Now, market is flooded with retinols. The important thing about retinol is that you need to choose a high quality retinol and preferably go with just about 2 to 4% of retinol. Do not go for higher strengths of retinol because retinol can be very irritant to the skin. And always use retinol in night, never in the morning, because you can have a lot of skin exfoliation, a lot of skin redness, a lot of skin peeling when you start using retinol initially. And sun-related photoaging or aging in general, sometimes, the creams are not really enough, especially when the wrinkles have set in, your skin has lost a lot of collagen. So you need to be able to build this collagen. And the best way to build this collagen is by taking few treatments at a good clinic. Number one that comes to top of my mind is the skin resurfacing, where all the entire dead layer of the skin is taken out, and the new skin which forms comes out very smooth. It can be done with things like CO2 laser or the erbium YAG laser. Or you can go for skin tightening treatments like the micro needling RF or the RF skin tightening treatments. And of course, one of the most common treatments is the PRP or the vampire facial, which got famous with the celebrities taking it, and it was all over our social media. Now, coming to the second part of this talk. The second part of this talk is about forming a skincare routine. Whenever a person comes to me asking for things like, say, I want a better skin or I want a younger looking skin, apart from the treatments that I might ask them to do, the 50% of the job is done by following a consistent yet good skincare routine. Having a skincare routine and starting it early in life prevents a lot of things from worsening with time. And summers, you'll need a little bit of a modification and adjustment, which would help you curate a better skincare routine for yourself. For ease of application, I tell my patients to divide skincare routine into a morning routine and a night routine. And these are the few things that we add in a morning and night routine. So this is a basic framework for having a basic skincare routine. So you need to have a cleanser in the morning, which you are going to wash your face. The second application is a serum. If depending upon your skin type, you will have to add a moisturizer. And finally, a sunscreen. So this is your morning routine. In the night, again, you use the same cleanser, and then you add a serum. Now, a serum, why do we need to use a serum in the night? Because serums are highly concentrated with the ingredients that we need to work on our skin. So first step is a cleanser. Second is a serum. And finally, you need to seal these serums with a night repair cream. So why is it that a night routine is so popular? The reason the night routine is so popular is because you have enough time in the night to, one, do it properly. Second, a lot of these serums that have the active ingredients, you cannot put them in the day because they make your skin a little sensitive. The third thing is that you have enough time in the night for these serums to be present on your skin to cause a good recovery. So how do you really choose a cleanser? So the basic job of a cleanser is to just wash your face. There is no magic that is going to happen with the cleanser. However, choosing a right cleanser makes sense for you because let's say if you have a very sensitive skin, or let's say if you have a very acne prone skin and you use a wrong cleanser, you can have a little bit of a worsening there. Also, using a good cleanser ensures that all the dirt and the grime is off your face. So look for these ingredients when you're choosing a cleanser. For example, if you have an oily skin, you need to have a cleanser that contains either a salicylic acid or a glycolic acid. But if you have a dry skin, you are going to use a gentle cleanser, which also has a stabilizing property of the hyaluronic acid so that your skin does not have a dry after effect. But if you have a normal skin, you can simply use a cleanser containing a glycolic or a lactic acid or just about any cleanser because your skin does not have a specific requirement. So coming to the next step, how do you choose a morning serum? Now, let's say you have a normal skin, you just want a little bit of a rejuvenation. The best thing you can do is after cleansing your face, put vitamin C containing serum on the face. These vitamin C serums have a lot of oxidative properties. They prevent a lot of aging. They also help to fight pigmentation. Therefore, vitamin C is one kind of a product that fits into all the concerns. However, if you have dry skin, sensitive skin, acne prone skin, do not use vitamin C because it might further aggravate the issues. If you have dry skin in the morning, immediately after washing your face, you can put a hyaluronic acid serum. And if you have a sensitive skin, look for niacinamide. Now, these are things, again, they are very easily available online. You just need to pick a good brand or visit a doctor or a dermatologist who can see your skin and then recommend you a good routine thereof. Now, coming to the third and the most critical part. Now, I tell this to all my patients, everything else is negotiable except sunscreen. You cannot have a good skincare routine if you're not using a sunscreen properly. It doesn't have to be the most expensive sunscreen, but it has to be a consistent sunscreen that you are going to use for the rest of your life. In India, anything above SPF of 30 is good enough for most people. However, like I've said previously, if you have pigmentation, you'll need a sunscreen with SPF 50 plus. Also, if you are going for a holiday, especially to a beach or a mountain, you are going to need an SPF 50 plus sunscreen. Now let's see, how do you choose a sunscreen for different skin types? Let's say you have an oily skin. The biggest fear people have when they have oily skin is that, will my face look more oily? Will my face look like it's very sticky? If you have these kind of concerns and you have an oily skin, you need to go for a matte based sunscreen or a gel based sunscreen. The common ingredient in a matte based sunscreen is silicone, so look for those kind of sunscreens. However, if you have a dry skin and if you use a matte based sunscreen, you're going to feel super dry. Therefore, you need to use a creamy sunscreen or a lotion form of a sunscreen. And let's say if you have a sensitive skin, then you just have to use a physical sunscreen. Now, physical sunscreen is the ones that these cricketers and footballers use. It does leave a little bit of a white cast, and the common ingredients here would be zinc oxide or titanium dioxide. Look for physical sunscreens if you have sensitive skin. Look for physical sunscreens if you are, if you are a sports enthusiast, if you have to be in sun for prolonged periods of time due to sports, go for the physical sunscreens. A note here, if you have little children in the house who you would want to protect from the sun, again, physical sunscreen is a good add-on for little children. You can start using sunscreens from the age of 6 months onwards. So there's no, restriction in using a sunscreen for little kids as well. But let's say you've chosen a sunscreen, and if you do not apply it properly, it actually fails our purpose altogether. So it's very important for you to understand how to actually apply a sunscreen. Now, the common question people ask me is how much. So I have a simple rule. Let's suppose these are your 3 fingers, and you have to apply the sunscreen on all of these 3 fingers, and that's the amount you need to be applied on every single application. If you are using the sunscreen adequately, you will be finishing a bottle in 15 days time. So you would be wanting to have 2 bottles of sunscreen per month. And the biggest mistake people do is they do not use sunscreen when they're indoors and on a cloudy day. Remember, we are not just bothered about the heat here. We're bothered about the UVA light. We're bothered about the UVB light. And all of these lights are present even inside our houses. Also, a lot of this exposure comes from the computer screens. We are all hooked to our computer screens day in and out, especially after COVID pandemic. With work from home, a lot of exposure to UV lights happens through our devices. Therefore, we need to be putting sunscreen even indoors. And I think that would be a very big takeaway from this particular talk over here, if I could encourage people to use sunscreen as much as they should be using it. Now, let's talk about the night. Night serums are very important, and they usually contain the active ingredients which work on our specific concerns. For example, your acne, for example, your pigmentation, for example, your aging. Therefore, choosing a night serum can be very baffling and confusing for a lot of people, again, because of so much information that is available online, so much feed that people get from their friends who would be using a particular serum, and then they would talk to them about it. And a lot of mishaps happen when you choose too many night serums if you are overdoing your skincare. I think the biggest rule about skincare for everybody here would be start with 1 or 2 products, gradually add more products. Because if you're going to use a lot of serums together, that's when the problem happens, because all of these have acids and you can really corrode your epidermis, the superficial layer of your skin, and make it vulnerable to the outside world. So for purpose of dead skin removal or exfoliation. Now remember, our skin replenishes itself every 4 days. Therefore, when you age, this replenishing cycle becomes quite bad. So let's suppose your skin is recovering altogether in a month's time, and your dead skin is accumulating on the surface of your skin. That is going to make you look tired, old, and dull. So you need, for this 4 weeks of cycle, to go faster. The best kind of ingredients for normal skin exfoliation would be alpha hydroxylic acids like glycolic acid and lactic acid. However, for oily skin, you need beta hydroxy acids. So look for things like salicylic acid. But if you have a sensitive skin, do not go for alpha hydroxy acids or beta hydroxy acids. You can go for polyhydroxy acids. Now, these terminologies might look confusing, but if you actually go online and read about the products, that's how they come. So you need to have a little bit of an understanding about these products and at least a basic know-how before you choose a night serum for dead skin removal or exfoliation. Let's say you have pigmentation. So you will need to look for these 4 ingredients because these are anti-pigmentary agents. They are relatively safe to use. There's one ingredient called as hydroquinone, which is very easily available in the local chemist. I would highly recommend for people to not use them. Another common mistake a lot of people do when they have pigmentation is they end up going to their chemist, who end up giving them a lot of creams containing the steroids and the hydroquinone combination. Do not use these creams because while steroids will initially give you a little bit of a recovery, but later on they will cause permanent damage to your skin. So over-the-counter skin lightening creams, especially at the chemist counters, is a big no-go because once you use these creams for prolonged periods of time, you can have permanent and irreversible damage to your skin. Start slow. Start with one of these creams that could contain azelaic acid, kojic acid, alpha-arbutin, or resorcinol. And let's say you are getting fine lines and wrinkles and you're bothered about them and you want to do something to stall the aging process. The biggest and most important thing here to use would be retinol. Remember, if you're starting on a retinol in your skincare routine, you need to start with a retinol between 2 to 4%. Also, do not use retinol every night. Start initially by maybe using retinol once or twice a week. Take about a pea-sized amount, put it all over face and neck, keep it for 2 to 3 hours only, and then wash. As your skin gets accustomed to retinol, you can use it overnight and every day as well. More safer ingredients would be bakuchiol and peptides, which help to replenish or rehydrate our skin. Therefore, these 2 ingredients are relatively safer compared to retinol if you are seeing the fine lines and the aging process becoming faster in your skin. So now that we have done, a basic workup about how your ingredients should be, what are your skin types, I'm going to give you a few examples that shall put a lot of things in perspective for you as to how you should go about your skincare routine. Let's talk about, let's say somebody with an oily, acne-prone skin who's come to me for a skincare routine. This is how I would formulate their skincare routine. So their morning skincare routine would contain a face wash, which could contain salicylic acid. Then I would give them niacinamide serum and a very watery moisturizer, which is not sticky, followed by, like I said, a matte silicone-based sunscreen SPF 30 and above. And their night routine would look like this. They can either go for a salicylic or a glycolic acid face wash, follow it up with retinol or benzoyl peroxide. Now remember, these are again ideally prescription products, but in India, they're very easily available. Therefore, if at all you have acne and you're trying to procure these products, my only request here would be go slow, do not overdo. Start with maybe 1 or 2 hour application because these creams can cause a lot of redness, dryness, and even your skin can peel out. So either take the prescription from a dermatologist and understand how they have to be applied, or if you're doing it yourself, go slow initially. And let's say if you have marks, on the marks itself, you can put things like azelaic acid and arbutin. Now, coming to a second example, let's say somebody has a dull skin. Now, one of the biggest challenges for me when somebody with a dull skin comes is if I tell them, since like Dr. Roy has said, skin is the largest organ of our body. It mirrors what is wrong with your body. For example, if you have obesity, if you are eating a lot of junk food, if you are on a keto diet, there will be a lot of free radicals produced in your body, which is going to make your skin bad. Therefore, you need to be on a good lifestyle in order to have a great skin, and that becomes more relevant in the summers. So you need to exercise daily to have endorphins released in your body. You need to eat healthy to reduce the free radical damage in your skin. Follow a consistent day and night routine, and you definitely need to get some treatments done at your dermatologist's clinic because sometimes the skincare routine may not be enough. A typical dull skin morning routine would consist of a face wash containing AHA or BHA. By AHA, again, reiterating again, it means things like alpha hydroxy acid, like lactic acid or glycolic acid, or BHA would be like a salicylic acid. Follow with a serum that contains vitamin C, niacinamide, and hyaluronic acid. Definitely, the third most important thing is a sunscreen 3 times a day, followed up with oral antioxidants like glutathione and vitamin C. A dull skin night routine would again consist of a face wash, followed by a serum that would contain retinol for aging and glycolic acid for skin peeling, and a repair cream to put over the top of these things, which would contain either ceramide or hyaluronic acid. These are the treatments that you can get at your dermatologist clinic. Things like skin boosters that contain hyaluronic acid like Bolite and Vital, a hydrofacial once in a while, chemical peels regularly with microdermabrasion, PRP with microneedling, and laser toning. Coming to one final thing before I close this discussion would be makeup. I think makeup has become an integral part of our life, especially with women, because it enhances your features, helps you feel more confident, and why not? However, these makeup can also damage your skin, and you need to understand what kind of makeup you need to be putting on your skin and how do you remove it. Few do's and don'ts about makeup. If you are going on a full-on glam look where you're going to be putting a foundation, a concealer, a loose powder, you need to first put a primer on your skin. A primer is necessarily not a specific product. It can even be a good moisturizer. Secondly, if you have oily skin with large pores, you need to avoid liquid foundations. Using a loose powder every day over sunscreen is a good idea because the loose powder kind of mattifies your sunscreens and prevents a lot of dirt and grime from sticking onto your face. Also, there are loose powders which are available in color. So let's suppose you've gone on a day's event and you have put makeup on top of makeup and you want to touch it up. It's a good idea to use loose powder over and above your makeup. But most importantly, how do you remove it? In my opinion, using a micellar water to remove makeup is a better idea instead of harsh cleansers. Let's say you've got a full glam look. You can use a coconut oil to first remove the first layer, but you still need to use a micellar water after that to take out the makeup which might be stuck in crevices and pores on the face. After you've used a makeup, always hydrate your skin with the moisturizer because your skin can be very dry and rough after removing so much of makeup. And thirdly, never sleep with makeup on. The moment you sleep with makeup on, you're clogging your pores and you're inviting a lot of acne to form. A few housekeeping rules about makeup that I would like to discuss here would be, it's a good and wise idea to wash your brushes, sponges, and your makeup kit every week. When you are putting makeup with your hands, remember there can be a lot of bacteria on our hands. So you need to wash your hands before you're touching your skin with makeup. With that, I would like to conclude my talk and I would be happy to answer a few queries. Dr. Roy, over to you, sir. If you have any more queries, I'd be happy to answer over here.
Thank you, Ishad. I mean, let me accept that first time I felt that my MBBS training was of no use. I didn't even understand a word of what you spoke in terms of technicalities, but I'm sure a lot of my listeners understood it very well. And many of them who are so finely cued, because I'm not cued to it, I don't know what you're talking about, but the very fact that you said few things which triggered a lot of thoughts in my mind. You said that skin changes every 4 weeks. Our skin layering changes 4 weeks, and as we grow older, the growth becomes slower, and that's what reflects in it looking aged or the not well kind of tired look and all that, which could be. You also said in the beginning, first of all, let me compliment you for putting some of the very basic problems of skincare in summer very lucidly. And you rattled off a lot of medicines and all that, which I'm sure I would recommend to all my listeners that I would be sending you a recording of it. So whenever you need to go through it, please go through it. It can be a ready reckoner for you to take care of your skincare. I'm sure of that because he has really presented it very well. Now you said something, Dr. Ishad, that tanning is a very important aspect of skin safety. Skin saves itself by coloring it, right? And
Yes.
the fact that we want to remove it is because we want to look good. But my fundamental question which I have, is it good to remove tan or just for the look sake, or do you think it is safe for them to continue with tanning?
So, sir, what happens in Caucasian skins, we see a lot of skin cancers like melanomas. And that's because of the paucity of melanin that we have.
Mm.
And we do not see so much of that in India because we tan so much and so easily, and our melanin actually protects us from the sun. But once the tan that has happened, that has really no what should I say? There is no consequence of that tan on further getting a cancer or not. So once the tan has happened, we can definitely remove it because our body is going to constantly. It's not going to stop producing melanin. We are continuously protected from the sunlight because of our melanin. So just for looking good, yes, once in a while, let's say if you have an event to attend, please go ahead and remove your tan. But if you want to stay detan forever, A, that is not possible, and B, we should not even be aiming at it.
So fine. Actually, you have answered it beautifully. That you don't need to really detan yourself, if I can say, detan yourself, but because it's in our mind, especially our Indian mind and Asian mind, fair color is very important.
Yes, yes.
You need to look fairer. And for that, you like to kind of despise tan. And if it's a pigmentation, sorry, you were saying something, Ishad?
So I think, sir, the message that I tell everybody, I think, is we need to be comfortable in our skin, number one. Number two, the beauty is not about the color of our skin. It's about the features and clarity of our skin. So no wonder one of the biggest fashion icons or models or the most beautiful faces in the world are all dark skinned people. So we need to really get over the fairness complex that has been, transmitted from generations in India. I think that is one of the biggest takeaway which people would want to take away here.
Few more points I have. See, you have talked about Q switch lasers, hydrofacials, YAG laser, chemical peel. But this country in last 1,000 years has evolved a lot of our own remedies, that some people put lentil paste on their faces. Some people put that haldi and milk and or whatnot, all that local. So what is, could you compare that, the locally available products, Multani Mitti, all those products, what is their role? And because we know for sure that a lot of skin is genetic. It's not really.
Okay.
So
yes, sir. So I think I'm not against home remedies, but I feel that home remedies have been exploited to a point where they end up becoming more dangerous than good. So I'll just give you an example. A few days back, I had a patient who had a wart on his forehead. And apparently warts have been removed in India using a horse hair and tuna since ages. And he did that. And what was the consequence? Maybe 10, 8 out of 10 warts do get removed, but there can be 2 cases where he had a very bad looking 2nd-degree burn on his forehead. So I mean, just to put a corollary here, I'm not against home remedies. They might be okay for 7 out of 10 people, but for the 3 people where they might cause a disaster, it could be a big challenge to recover from them. For example, I've seen people putting vinegar on their face and having burns. I've seen people putting toothpaste on their face and having a burn. I've seen people vigorously scrubbing their skin with a lentil paste and having a bad contact dermatitis. I've seen contact dermatitis to even aloe vera. That is also freshly taken aloe vera right from the plant. So if you are using home remedies, be aware of what your skin type is. One, what is your skin type? Second, what are the ingredients in their home remedies? For example, lactic acid, which is present in the curd and milk, which a lot of people apply on their face. Now, if you have acne and you're going to put lactic acid containing curd and milk, you are going to worsen it. So there is a science behind these things, but you need to be able to understand the ingredients and your skin type in order to do these home remedies, which unfortunately does not happen.
So you are saying that getting advised by a trained physician, and somewhere you also made a comment, not from a a beautician, but a trained
Yes,
physician who would kind of identify your skin type and tell you what is available, which is good for you. And
yes,
if that is matched, then you have a better chance of a skincare. But
absolutely,
you're also
absolutely.
saying, if I heard you correctly, that a lot of home remedies are very basic remedies, like those are good for 7 on 10, but because there's no rectification of their matching the skin type, you tend to get onto the wrong side. I agree with you.
Absolutely,
So
absolutely.
I have seen enough people who were diabetic, but they kept on taking the Unani medicine and became comatose. They went to diabetic coma. We have seen so many of them.
Yes,
Things
sir. Yes,
happening.
sir.
So same thing is true for skin also.
Absolutely, sir.
So Dr. Ishad, you said you gave a very clear-cut guidelines on that how to take care of your skin, how to remove makeup, what makeup to use. That you said sunscreen. That if you have a dry skin, what kind of serum you require. Serum. If you have a sensitive skin, what kind of serum you require. So it is there in the presentation. I would be sharing with you all. Please go through it at your free time so you can really practice it better. Something which you talked about that about aging. You say
Yes,
when the
sir.
skin is aging, there are wrinkles. So you said about retinol and bacho and
Yes,
peptides
sir.
and all those three things you mentioned. And it said the retinol should be practiced in the beginning once or twice in a week because
Yes.
they can really sensitize your skin. Right. Now, before we conclude, I've got a last question from you. Tell me that if you keep on getting your treatment done, like chemical peel, Q switch lasers, I have seen a lot of people, a lot of women who got so much treatment done to their skin that at the end of 20, 25 years, their skin looks really kind of hurt. It doesn't look as fresh. Something which would have been had it been a more a natural process. To give you some hint about that, that what are those natural elements in diet which can make skin look better?
Protein, number one, a
Protein.
good amount of protein, because our skin needs collagen, and as we age, collagen deteriorates. So protein content should be good.
Mhm.
Number two would be fruits, and especially berries that contain a lot of antioxidants. That
Mhm.
would be a great starting point. What in fact, it's more about what you should not be eating than what you should be eating. I see a lot of teenagers having acanthosis nigricans and PCOD related skin issues, and that's because of all the junk food consumption that has gone into our system. So I think what I tell people is, eat what people were eating maybe 30 to 40 years back, and you should be good with your skin.
And what are those food which people were eating 30, 40 years back?
So there was, like I said, there was a less dependence upon things like processed cheese, processed food, maida. There was a lot less sugar that was going in our body. The milk, for example, I think milk is a big culprit. We do not need milk after a point of time in our life. We human beings were not meant to have milk. So dairy is a big no go if you really want to have your skin great. I think there's now a dependence upon wheat. Wheat, in my opinion, was not a perennial crop to begin with. So we need to even go back to millets for a part of our diet in a year, because all of this contributes to the glycemic index being worsened, and that's really triggering faster aging. That's triggering things like acanthosis nigricans. They're triggering things. They're causing end product glycylation of even our skin, which is causing the skin to age faster. Which is why I've seen that now aging is much faster compared to what it was 10 years back. And all of this has been because of the metabolic degradation of the skin.
So what Dr. Ishad Aggarwal has just mentioned, if I can translate in a simple English, he said that the food which we eat it raises our blood sugar very fast and brings it down very fast. So whenever the blood sugar goes high, it must be drawing a lot of water into the system, and when it goes down, it dispels the water. So constant high and low glycemic index, what is said, will create your skin to retract and expand. So maybe very nano millimeter, but then all that cumulative hurts your skin. So I think am I right, Ishad?
Yes, sir. I think for educating people, yes, this would be a very good way to put across.
Thank you, Ishad. So also he said that by maintaining a healthy lifestyle, going back to the basic fundamental food, avoid processed food, eat gooseberries and protein, more vitamin C items like orange, whatever it may be, the gooseberries, he gave example, and drinking a lot of water, you can keep your skin healthy and vibrant and healthy looking for a long time to come.
Absolutely.
If there's one takeaway from which here is that the constant exposure of the skin to the sun must be prevented if you want if you don't mind, if you want to look healthy skin wise, then you must prevent sun exposure to your skin as much as possible. And for that, he has given a routine. And he said, in case if you had skin damaged, then he has given a lot of things how you can use it to bring the collagen back. He said we can take your skin out, rub it by using chemical peel and other things. So the fresh skin when it comes, it has more collagen in it. And if you eat proper food item, your skin will look healthier. Doc, last question. What is the role of Botox in making your skin healthier?
Oh, I love Botox. I wish everybody should do Botox. There's a big myth about Botox where it looks unnatural, where I think if you keep on doing Botox, you look older. I have done my own Botox, and I don't think anybody comes and tells me that, oh, doc, you're Botoxed. I do Botox because I like doing it. I don't like the wrinkles. It's a personal choice. And I think to everybody who would be listening here, if you do not like your wrinkles and you want to get rid of them, go ahead and do Botox. Don't let myths stop you. Don't let judgment stop you. Don't let fake media coverage about Botox stop you.
How expensive Botox is?
Depends on how much we have to use. But I think expense is a very relative thing. If people can spend 35,000 to 40,000 on a sari and a bag, why not a little bit lesser on Botox?
Can men do it?
Of course. Men are better. They should be doing it, yes.
Okay. Thank you. I'm sure all my listeners enjoyed listening to you. I did. And I'm sure they'll go through a presentation multiple times to learn it completely by heart. Thank you, Ishad.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks to all our listeners. Please, health is the ultimate wealth. Keep on joining us every Saturday, 5:30, 6:30. We bring the tips to you for you to stay healthy. With this, I'm extremely thankful to Bengal Chamber of Commerce and Rotary Club of Calcutta, Vienna for being our partners, taking our message to you all. Stay healthy. We want you to stay healthy.
Thank you, sir.
In winter and all time to come. Thank you, Shah. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.